of us are going through things that we cannot handle on our own. So my hope and my prayer for all of us is that we will find strength in God today. Amen. 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 You can be seated this morning. Are we working yet this morning? Don't unplug. Oh. Okay. We're transitioning between getting ready to go live for folks. So if we're close to that. Are we on? Oh, good. Good morning, everyone out there in La La Land or wherever you're at online. Thank you for being with us today. We are glad that you are here and joining us for service this morning. God's got a good word for us today. And so for us here at home, thank you for hanging with us as we transition to live streaming together. The title of my message this morning is what you see is what you get. Where's my wife at? Hi. I just need to know that you're in the house. Okay, good to see you. Thanks for being here with us today, Lise. You scared me for a second. You're sitting down over there, but you're standing up on the outside. Oh, you are. Say hi for me for everybody. What you see is what you get is the title of my message today. And I want to look back at Vision Sunday, January 5th, is it 8 months ago, 9 months ago, 10 months ago? 10 months ago, we had the first Sunday of every year. In case you haven't been here, the first Sunday of the year, we have what we call Vision Sunday, and it's a word that I believe the Lord's given to our church for this year. It's kind of a theme for the year, and so the vision that was given. And by the way, I'm preparing and asking the Lord, even as we speak, over the next couple months, what the Lord would have for us for 2021. And so we're negotiating that, Jesus and I are, and He'll give me where we're headed here, hopefully soon. I still have a 2-month window, so there you go. But January 5th of this year, our vision for this year was faith in the senses of God. Faith in the senses of God, and how our 5 senses, the senses that God has given us, how those 5 not only are what we use to hear, to see, to taste, to feel, or to touch, and to smell. Those 5 senses, how those senses can prompt or kick in or help negotiate our faith. Okay? And it's in the Word, and we've looked at, especially near the beginning of the year, we looked at some different things about how our senses prompt or kick in our faith. And we can see how perspective plays a huge part in our faith. What we see can be sometimes what we get. Perspective plays a big part. I believe in either a really weak faith that scares us to death, or a really strong faith that creates and gives us great life together with Jesus Christ. So there's really only a couple of ways that this can go. I want to look at Psalm 23 real quick, just as an interlude, if you don't mind. Psalm 23 is one of my life verses. I have about 5 life verses. We're going to look at a couple others here shortly. But I felt that Psalm 23, verses 4 and 5, might help some of us out regarding our battles that we are going through, because we're going to look at a battle a little bit in just a few moments. Psalm 23, verse 4 says, even though, everybody say, even though. I walk through. Everybody say, walk through. It doesn't say walk up against the wall. It doesn't say walk up and get held up by a barrier. It says that we will walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you can walk through whatever you are going through. God will be with you. His presence is with you. You can walk through whatever you are going through, even the shadow of death. And he goes on, he says, I will fear no evil. Fear has played a big part in the last 8 months of our lives. Why? Because you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. And he goes on. David says, you prepare a table before me in the presence, listen to these words, in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup not just gets filled up to the top, but it overflows. The power of the gospel of Jesus Christ, if you will read the word, it will get you through the valley of the shadow of death. You won't have fear of evil. And just to know that God prepares a table before you in the presence of your enemies is an amazing thing. See, I think, some people are more concerned about the presence of the enemies than recognizing the presence of God. Get that? We concern ourselves so much about the presence of our enemies, but we forget to see and recognize the presence of God in our lives. Get scared. In 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 7 is another one of my life verses, along with Proverbs 4:23. 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 7. Proverbs 4:23 says this, above all else, guard your heart, for out of it flows the issues of life. That's one of my life verses. We need to check our hearts each and every day. In fact, probably multiple times throughout the day. Above all else, guard your heart. That could be a great life verse for all of us. I know it's one of mine. It helps me out each and every day. But the one that I want to look at this morning is 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 7. And it says this, that we walk by faith and not by sight. We walk by faith and not by sight. In the book of Hebrews, the word says that faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things that are not seen. If you look at things with your natural eyes, you can be scared to death. But if you will walk by faith and not by sight, you will notice the presence of God in your life.